Welcome to Engaging with Families, Lessons from the Pandemic, a webinar from the Grow New Jersey Kids Technical Assistance Center North. Family engagement has always been an important part of quality early childhood programs and vital to the framework of Grow New Jersey Kids. Childcare programs have had to get really creative with family engagement during the pandemic, with no one allowed in centers but children and staff, and the need to communicate and interact with families during this challenging time more critical than ever. Today, we'll talk about best practices in family engagement and some of the adaptations programs are using to engage with families virtually and at a distance. During uncertain times, how can you strengthen family engagement at your program? What are some new ways of engaging with families that came about during the pandemic that you might want to keep even after this pandemic has eased? Thanks so much for taking time out of your busy day to join us. We hope that you find your time spent here as helpful. We've prepared a comprehensive resource list with links to the webinars, books, blog posts, and articles we mention. We'll also share a slide deck with you. I'm Lori Hargy, Project Lead and Technical Assistance Specialist with the Grow New Jersey Kids Technical Assistance Center North. When I started at the TA Center, one of the favorite parts of my job pre-pandemic was meeting with directors, center staff, and family childcare providers in person to help everyone reflectively look at their programs and decide what they'd like to improve through Grow New Jersey Kids. What a difference a year makes. Like you, I've had to learn to navigate this new way of doing and being. In my career in early childhood, I've been a director, a teacher, an assistant teacher, and a family childcare provider. But I've never held any of those positions in a pandemic. We're going to hear from some early childhood leaders during our time together today. I applaud you for all that you do as an early childhood leader to show up day after day, continuing to provide quality care that your community is relying on. I'd like to introduce you to my colleague, Monica. Fun fact, we've worked together for a year and have never met in person.
Hello, everyone. My name is Monica Bieleka, and I am a Technical Assistance Specialist with the Grow NJ Kids Technical Assistance Center North. I started working at the TA Center when the pandemic was just beginning. We all put our lives on hold as the state initially shut down for 2 weeks. Now, a year later, we find ourselves navigating the restrictions with more ease as putting a mask on and washing our hands for solid 20 seconds became a habit. I hope too that you find the next 1 hour well spent. Thank you for joining us.
This definition of family engagement comes from California's parenting website, First Five California. Family engagement is a relationship-based, mutual, respectful, and responsive partnership between families, early learning and care providers, and other related professionals to promote children's development, learning, and wellness. Family engagement happens when early childhood professionals and families actively participate in an ongoing process of building and maintaining these meaningful relationships. Building and maintaining these important relationships took on a whole new meaning during the pandemic. And we all continue to discover that often it is the small things we do with great love that have the greatest impact. Those calls you make individually to families to ask with genuine care and concern, how are you? And then the pause to really listen to what they have to say. Small things with great love, making a big difference. We know how valuable it is to the well-being of children when the adults who care for them create and maintain a supportive partnership, with every adult demonstrating their desire to provide what's best for children. There are multiple benefits to families and programs of effective family engagement practices. Some of the benefits to families are that it promotes children's development, learning, and wellness. It provides a partnership support system to parents in their role as parents. Family engagement establishes stronger connections with other families and staff. And it also sets the stage for future school involvement, which leads to better outcomes for children. Some of the benefits to programs are that family engagement strengthens quality teaching practices through stronger partnerships. It helps you better live out your mission of providing great services by understanding and then meeting individual needs. And it cements your relationship with families, leading to greater continuity of care, longevity in your program, and referrals and enrollment of other families. Because Grow New Jersey Kids aligns with high quality practices, it makes sense that Grow New Jersey Kids family engagement practices are in agreement with NAEYC's principles of effective practice. NAEYC and Pre-K Now conducted an extensive review of research and found that programs' successful family engagement practices encompass the following 6 principles. Programs invite families to participate in decision-making and goal setting for their child. Programs invite families to actively take part in making decisions concerning their child's education. Teachers and families jointly set goals for children's education and learning, both at home and at school. Grow New Jersey Kids standards on home visits and parent-teacher conferences are a great place for this to happen. Teachers and programs engage families in two-way communication. Strategies allow for both school and family-initiated communication that is timely and continuous. Conversations focus on the child's educational experience, as well as the larger program, and communication takes multiple forms and reflects each family's language preference. Technology has provided us with many new ways for two-way communications to happen, even when we speak different languages. Programs and teachers engage families in ways that are truly reciprocal. Programs and families benefit from shared resources and information. Programs invite families to share their unique knowledge and skills and encourage active participation in the life of the school. Teachers seek information about children's lives, families, and communities, and integrate this information into their curriculum and teaching practices. You'll hear how programs have encouraged families to participate in the life of the classroom remotely. Programs provide learning activities for the home and in the community. We've heard of incredible creativity that's been demonstrated this past year, with programs providing their own virtual story time, circle time, science experiments, art experiments, snack and lunch time, links for families to access other online opportunities, apps, and contactless learning packets that were sent home to keep children engaged in learning. Programs invite families to participate in program-level decisions and wider advocacy efforts. In Grow New Jersey Kids, this can be operationalized with a family group that meets a few times a year to support the program. Advocates for children of New Jersey are always looking to amplify the voices of parents and providers in order to help decision makers in Trenton and Washington, D.C. understand the challenges families and childcare professionals face. This is one way to encourage parent participation on community advisory councils. Programs implement a comprehensive program-level system of family engagement. Programs institutionalize family engagement policies and practices and ensure that teachers, administrators, and other staff receive the supports they need to fully engage families. The Strengthening Families program is a very comprehensive system many programs participating in Grow New Jersey Kids choose to implement. The pandemic has amplified that together we are better. Childcare programs in New Jersey are not alone in supporting families' well-being. Every county has a child care resource and referral agency, also known as a CCR&R, and every CCR&R has a family engagement specialist who helps connect families with resources. The family engagement specialist in your county can assist you in supporting your families by providing information that you can share. Here's Corinne Levia, Family Engagement Specialist from 4Cs of Passaic County, to describe what family engagement specialists do throughout New Jersey.
Hi everyone, my name is Corinne Leva and I'm the Family Engagement Specialist here at 4Cs of Passaic County. There's a Family Engagement Specialist at every local child care resource and referral agency. So please, I recommend you to reach out to your Family Engagement Specialist. We are here to support you, to guide you, and assist you as much as we can. During this pandemic, we have come up with different ways in how we can outreach our families virtually. And so we have been conducting virtual workshops, virtual events, such as our infamous Parent Cafe, where we are uniting families together to become familiar with the resources in their community, to answer any questions or concerns they may have, and to also even introduce them to guest speakers from the different organizations in the community and ask questions directly to them. We also have our Books, Balls, and Blocks event virtually, where we are inviting families, educating families in the why and the how to complete the ages and stages questionnaire and why it's so important to complete this questionnaire. This is a parent-friendly tool for families to become aware of their child's milestones. And so it's so important for us to engage with our families and for them to be aware of how easy it is to complete the questionnaire and the benefits as well from completing the ages and stages questionnaire. They will be also receiving resources, referrals, recommendations, activities after their appointments with their family engagement specialist when going over the ages and stages questionnaire. Also providing parenting workshops. We are hoping and striving to strengthen families in our communities through our parenting workshops. So please be on the lookout with your local child care resource and referral agencies, because we are here to support you, to guide you and assist you as much as we can. And I'm hoping that you're able to connect with your family engagement specialist from your local child care and resource and referral agency, because we all know it takes a village to raise a child, and we are the village. And let's start here. So please connect with us, and I'm hoping that we will be able to connect and strengthen our relationships with our communities. Thank you.
Children develop in the context of their families. For some children, the term family includes a large number of people and other children. For other children, family consists of just a parent or a grandparent. In either scenario, family and community have significant influences on young children through cultural background and local values. Each community is unique and filled with many different cultures, religions, and languages. Programs can provide children with quality learning experiences by connecting local values in their program design. Before the pandemic, you may have had full classrooms and a waiting list. During the pandemic, there has been a very important emphasis on health and safety, with restrictions on group size. When pandemic guidelines are eased, families are allowed to once again enter centers and group sizes are lifted, you may be looking for ways to increase your enrollment. The pandemic has changed so many things. Family engagement will continue to be extremely important moving forward. Looking at your program with new eyes can help you to be sure you are amplifying the welcome you want to provide to everyone who enters through your doors. Use all of your senses to do an appraisal of your space, starting with your curb appeal and your front door. Walk through your building to determine what does or does not convey both beauty and excellence, and make on-the-spot improvements. How does your space look, sound, feel, and smell? Does everyone feel welcome? Do I see my family and my community represented in this program? Do I feel a genuine sense of welcome? How do we build and maintain meaningful, authentic relationships? Families who feel seen, heard, and valued are more likely to choose your program and stick with your program. With a brand new family, an existing family, or a returning family, that relationship is built one great interaction at a time by setting your intention to communicate through words and actions that you are important to me. Many directors have shared with us that for the past year, new families have frequently enrolled their children without ever having set foot in the center. We applaud and honor you for the relationship of trust you have been able to develop with new families without ever having met in person. That is amazing. With a new family, that relationship often starts online. Does your online presence, your online home, your website, and your online voice, your social media presence, amplify your program's amazingness, the quality care you provide, the ways you're working to keep children safe? Some families are still feeling unsure about sending their children into group care. Can you proactively ease their fears by continuing to share all of the health and safety protocols you are following to keep everyone safe and healthy? Do you actively ask your current families for testimonials that you can include in your online and physical marketing materials? Hearing from other parents about what a great place your program is for children helps to build trust. Do you incentivize that ask to your current families, perhaps with a shout out or by including every family that submits a testimonial in a drawing for a free registration for next year? With all that you've got going on, are you able to take a brief pause and a few deep breaths to get yourself into the right head and heart space to answer the phone call, text, or email of a prospective parent? Is your voice welcoming, warm, inviting? Can your listener hear the smile in your voice? Do you have a phone script, and is everyone who answers your phone trained to use it? Do you gather information to be able to make connections and follow up? Programs have done an amazing job providing virtual tours to prospective families. Some have put a tour video on their website. Others have conducted a one-on-one tour in real time, allowing parents to ask questions as they go and giving them a chance to see the staff and classroom where their child will spend his days. Still, other directors have scheduled families for after-hours tours. Some directors have decided that they like the way that personalized virtual tours have helped to accommodate the schedules of busy families so well that they plan to continue to keep virtual tours as an option, even after restrictions are lifted. You know you run a great program. Don't be shy about making the ask. At the conclusion of a tour, whether it's virtual or in person, are you comfortable to say, "We'd love to have little Junior join our toddler class. When would you like him to start?" Do you have a family ambassador or buddy program? What a great way for families who love your program to show their appreciation by proactively welcoming a new family into your program. What a great way to increase family engagement for both new and veteran families. Extending grace. I've heard people say that they're feeling that people have gotten really good about this in the pandemic, giving people the benefit of the doubt, living by the belief that people are doing the very best that they can. I hope this is a lesson that we can all keep. But assuming positive intent is hard. Did you know that as humans, our natural bias is to move toward the negative? It's only when we become aware of this bias that we can begin to address it. Assuming the best rather than the worst helps us to build deeper relationships with families. It's something I really had to live into as a foster parent, establishing relationships with families whose children were living in my home. Every family is doing the best they can within their own unique experiences, skills, knowledge, and circumstances. I absolutely did not understand this concept as a young teacher. I was judgmental due to ignorance. I didn't know that being a teacher is far, far different than being a parent. Although I don't know whether I ever explicitly said anything to a parent that was super judgy. I'm sure the families could feel my disapproval and my attitude that I knew better than they did about being a good parent. Truth be told, I was the best parent in the world until I had children. Only then did I begin to understand how difficult parenting was, and I had many, many advantages and supports that many new parents don't have. It takes the whole team at an early childhood program engaging positively and proactively with families for professional relationships with all families to thrive. How can you help every person on your team reflectively look at every family through the lens of unconditional positive regard? Taking care of ourselves helps us to come at our work from the very best place to support our staff so they can support the children, and together we can support families. In a recent webinar sponsored by Kangaroo Time, Christina Fecchio spoke of keys to authentic family engagement. She stated that if you want passionate, inspired families who are emotionally invested in your school, you have to demonstrate those same qualities day in and day out. What you focus on grows. So when you intentionally prioritize authenticity, optimism, and your passion for your program, growth happens. She suggests a daily gratitude practice as a way for program leaders to reinvigorate optimism and passion. New Jersey is one of the most diverse states in the country. You may serve families whose home languages are unfamiliar to you. How do you effectively engage them? Karen Nemeth joins us with some suggestions.
Hello, I'm Karen Nemeth, and I am originally a Jersey girl. I studied first and second language development at William Patterson and Rutgers. I went on to teach at Felician and Kane and Montclair, and worked at Childcare resource and referral agencies, even worked for the New Jersey Department of Education in the Office of Preschool. So I've had many opportunities to work with programs and schools and family child care providers throughout the state and understand their strengths, their strategies, and their challenges in working with families from diverse language and cultural backgrounds. And it's so important to build that partnership with families, especially when additional languages are involved. And now more than ever, we're also trying to find the best ways to partner with families in virtual environments. So with all of that experience, I was actually fortunate enough to be able to write some of these ideas down and a book that I published with two co-authors for NAEYC. And this book is called Families and Educators to Get Together, Building Great Relationships That Support Young Children, with Derry Korolek and Kelly Ramsey, published by NAEYC. And we came to find that there are a lot of things going on that could help, even small ways and in big sort of system-wide ways. So I thought I'd bring a little bit of both to you today. So in an individual person-to-person relationship that you're trying to build with families that speak a language that may not be familiar to you, I recommend starting with images. You can share a photo of a child's work or capture a video clip of the child interacting with other classmates over Zoom story time. And that positive image being sent to parents creates such a powerful way to reach out, to build that rapport, to start that communication. And you can make it a mutual relationship by encouraging families to send images back to you, like pictures of what the child likes to do when they're working in the garden with their grandmother, or a video of the child singing their favorite song in their home language. You can learn a lot about what that child knows and can do. You can learn a lot about the great things that families are already doing to support their child's learning at home and in the home language. And together, by sharing those images back and forth, you can bridge those communication differences and really begin to understand each other as people. And that helps you understand each other's languages. So, on a broader sort of policy approach, I also recommend that it's time we start thinking about flipping the whole idea of a family engagement plan. So often we start with a list of activities that we're going to do. But not all families participate in those activities, or not all families read the school newsletter or whatever it may be. But in these changing times and with such increasing diversity, we really need to make sure that we are connecting with each and every family. So why not start your family engagement plan with a list of the families? And then next to every family's name, you indicate what strategies, what activities seem to capture the interest of each family, what they are going to participate in, and what supports they might need in terms of translation or which mode of communication. Do they prefer a text message or a phone call or written communication, whatever it may be. And by making sure that you have a plan for engaging each family, you have better success engaging all the families and having everyone participate. This can really be helpful as you're navigating the various options, the various digital options that help you communicate in this virtual world. And this helps you to really be sure that no family is left out. Because a family that's not participating in their child's education, it's like a lost opportunity to really leverage all of the wealth of knowledge and traditions and language that happen at home. And so I'd like to thank you for your participation today, and I hope you enjoy your webinar.
What a great way to think about reaching all families. Start with a list of families and individualize opportunities to meet them where they are, recognizing the activities, invitations, and ways of communicating that might be most appealing to each family. Now let's look specifically under a pandemic lens at the items that are included in the Grow New Jersey Kids Category 3, Family and Community Engagement. Developing a community resource handbook that includes community and school-based resources to promote child and family safety, health, and stability is an important Grow New Jersey Kids standard. During the pandemic, you have become aware of many new resources from your technical assistance specialist, quality improvement specialist, childcare health consultants, NJC, Advocates for Children of New Jersey, Childcare Aware, your local community, your families, and fellow program leaders. I've seen amazing examples of these resources being made available through programs' Facebook pages and on websites. Now is the perfect time to make sure that your community resource handbook is a living, breathing document, and it's available online to your families. Is it on your website? And if not, how can you make that happen? There are Grow New Jersey Kids standards that reference having an established parent and family group to engage enrolled families and support their participation in the education of their children and provide input and advice on the program's policies, procedures, and practices. I'll share the words of Mr. Lincoln Lagroteria, president and executive director of the Jenna School in Clifton, as he talks about family engagement at their school and how they used the gazebo that you see pictured. In his words, Jenna School puts a special emphasis on the relationship between the teachers and parents as central to our educational program. We hold quarterly class parent meetings, mostly class mothers, and our JPA, Jenna Parents Association, is very active within the school. With COVID-19 disrupting much of daily life, we decided that we needed greater input from parents with all the changes to daily life and all the restrictions. We made use of our existing structures, our outdoor classroom, the gazebo, as a place where current and prospective parents could meet with administrators to express their concerns about children going back to school. While we opened in June at 25% capacity, we did return to our normal enrollment by the beginning of the school year in September. Part of this was due to the openness of our guidelines and reassuring parents. This close relationship that the parents had with teachers was cultivated during the many years our school had been operating, but specifically, our teachers made every effort to reach out to the children during our COVID-19 closing and visit the children's homes so that when children returned, the separation was not as significant as if they were away from school for a year. The open door policy of speaking with the administration had parents at ease, building trust during these uncertain times. Once parents felt more comfortable, their children felt more comfortable to return to school. Founded as a multi-religious and multicultural school, we have children of many different faiths, and we learn about those faiths as part of our program. We found the COVID-19 restrictions to be very overwhelming during what would have been our Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa celebrations. Instead of our usual celebrations, we sought the input of our parent community. And during our meeting in November, we had 13 parents join to discuss plans to hold a gift exchange, a simple pizza party, and decorations in order to keep the spirit of the holidays alive for the children. We are so grateful for this relationship, a bond over the many years of serving our community. Families have never been more appreciative of early childhood professionals than during the pandemic. Planning something for Teacher Appreciation Week is a great way for them to show their appreciation and kick off a brand new parent or family group. Starting a group with an immediate achievable task of thanking teachers is a win-win. It takes some of the burden off of you and makes the staff feel even more appreciated when the thanks are coming from so many people. There are many ways for families to get involved at every level. Wonderful virtual appreciation opportunities are plentiful and easily found online. They could include a thank you video or slideshow, a kudo board, digital gift cards, flowers, or other goodies delivered to your center. Colleen DeVito of Our Savior Nursery School in Stanhope described her thankfulness for how her parent group's contributions created a wonderful teacher appreciation experience at her school last May when the pandemic was still in its early stages. In the middle of the pandemic, the New Jersey Center for Quality Ratings is encouraging Grow New Jersey Kids programs to continue meeting standards in virtual ways. There has been so much information being shared to help families navigate these uncertain times. Have you been able to schedule education or health and safety workshops during the pandemic? Free platforms like SurveyMonkey allow you to identify needs with short, simple online surveys. Document outreach for the event by capturing the messaging you share to encourage attendance. The agenda, reflection questions, and screen grabs of the virtual meeting itself. Meetings don't have to be lengthy to be impactful. What are parents concerned about, and how can you facilitate conversations that lead to group sharing and learning, or find speakers to speak on a topic? Just as you may want to consider doing for family testimonials to add to your outreach, is there a way to incentivize participation in workshops? Recognition, a small gift, a gift card, A drawing for free registration, program swag. What about a priceless opportunity? Post-pandemic, that could be a front row seat at pre-K graduation or the spring concert. Grace Glarjuan, a technical assistance specialist working with family childcare providers, described how some of her family childcare providers offered virtual interactive family workshops to share resources with families as a way to partner in preparing for their children to understand the pandemic and the need to wear masks in a developmentally appropriate way. The providers especially focused on how to support children's and families' social and emotional well-being during this time using free, online, customizable books. Something Strange Happened in My City and books about wearing masks. They're available in multiple languages and developmentally appropriate. Virtual home visits? Who would have ever thought that could be a thing? But in the middle of a worldwide pandemic, we've learned to be adaptable. During this time, virtual home visits can be a great way to introduce home visiting into your program. If you've been wondering how to implement home visits, talk with your technical assistance specialist about how teachers can try them out virtually. It may be the perfect opportunity to discover how helpful and impactful home visits can be in increasing family engagement in your program. True story. As a 5-year-old entering kindergarten, I remember the day that Mrs. Loggle, my kindergarten teacher, came and visited me at my house. It was one quick visit, but 50 years later, I still remember how special that visit made me feel. My teacher came to visit me at my house. Home visits are amazing for engaging and connecting with families. Perhaps a virtual home visit is a way for you to enter that door. I'm going to leave you with this Maya Angelou quote as we transition to Monica, who will talk with you about communicating, strengthening families, and strategies for motivating families' engagement. In the words of Maya Angelou, I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Parent engagement is all about relationship-based, mutual, respectful, and responsive partnerships, the way we make people feel.
High-quality early childhood programs use a variety of methods to communicate with parents, families. Grow NJ Kids programs have increased and expanded on their communication strategies during the pandemic. How do your individual families like to receive communication? How do you know? Have you changed the way you communicate? Are you reaching everyone? How do you know? What new communication methods have you been using? During times of challenge, you may feel you've over-communicating, but sending important information out more than once is good and necessary. Because you've sent something out, don't assume that it's been read. The pandemic amplified the need to have a way to easily reach everyone. Do you have a system that doesn't rely solely on paper records kept at your program? Have you gone contactless? What time could this save you during a time when you have less time than usual? Paperless invoicing, payment through apps? Kids Interactive Day School in Oakland started using a Zoom platform to maintain parent participation. It is focused on the parent and child wellness, mental and social emotional issues that parents may be facing with their children. The center's director, Rashmi Bakshi, and her team suggest strategies to parents in areas they need help with. Since the teachers are also on the Zoom meeting, They can shed some light on what works in the class with the particular child. In addition to Zoom, a childcare software, Hi Mama, is utilized by the center as teachers send out separate daily activities for infants, toddlers, and preschoolers. The teachers supplement this with their ideas for projects, cooking, folding laundry, etc. Hi Mama also holds a daily circle time that is shared with the families to participate in. Using the Hi Mama platform, Ms. Rashmi also shares with parents articles and webinars that are related to COVID-19 or child health. Kids Interactive Day School does not stop there. In the last summer months, the director organized 2 drive-bys in the school parking lot to maintain connection. During the first drive-by, the staff put together a small take-home gift from Oriental Trading for each child. The teachers dressed up their cars as well as themselves. Some of the parents decorated their cars too. What's more, there was a Batman walking around, balloons, big bubbles floating up in the air. Every time a car came by, a temple bell rang, welcoming and cheering the family and child. Some parents stayed a while, others just said hi and bye. Each class was given 30 minutes time frame to make sure to social distance. During the second drive-by, the parents were asked if they would like to have a picnic on the spacious lawn, spread a blanket, and sit in their small family unit, separated from others. The teachers walked from group to group, masked and socially distanced, chatting with families and children. Again, there were a few families who came and stayed, others came and left after saying hello. Families have read to the classes via Zoom. Parent-teacher conferences have happened on Zoom and over the phone, and celebrations for Mother's and Father's Day will be held outdoors this year as well. Another way to keep families engaged is a childcare software and apps. There are many out there to choose from. You can find one that will suit your center's needs the most, as they are based on extensive research and interviews with early childhood educators. They aim to empower providers with affordable tools to improve developmental outcomes for the children they work with, while educating parents about the importance of their work. What's more, they allow real-time photos, videos, and SMS text updates to keep parents engaged in their child's day at your center. You can also use Google Classroom at your center to boost collaboration and foster communication. Google Classroom is available on the web or by mobile app. You can use this platform to keep families informed about current events and happenings. What's more, parents and caregivers will be able to post their responses and comments and make new connections with each other. You can use Google Classroom with many tools that you already use, such as Gmail, Google Docs, and Google Calendar. If you're interested in setting up your own virtual classroom and you need support in doing so, please reach out to your technical assistance specialist for step-by-step guidance. Many programs use private Facebook groups in order to engage with families and give opportunities for families to engage with each other. According to Standard 3.2.1, the Strengthening Families Protective Factor Framework is used to assess engagement of and interactions with parents and families. The Strengthening Families Initiative is an approach to preventing child abuse and neglect by strengthening families through early care and education. There are 5 protective factors in the Strengthening Families framework: parental resilience, social connections, knowledge of parenting and child development, concrete support in times of need, nurturing children's social emotional competence. According to Standard 3.3.1, all newly enrolled families are offered the Strengthening Families Protective Factor Survey to complete. Survey results are tallied, summarized, and aggregated to inform program policies and procedures regarding parents and families in terms of providing the best support. The Center for the Study of Social Policy, CSSP, defines parental resilience as the ability to manage stress and to function well even when bad things happen. During the stressful time, it should be about the parental resilience and knowing how to strengthen it. The Center for the Study of Social Policy chose to focus on how you, the provider, can maintain a strengths-based perspective when working with families in crisis and when you may not have as much contact, even virtually, with families as you typically do. According to Standard 3.4.1, the Strengthening Families Protective Factor Framework is used to assess engagement of interactions with parents and families. Annual update of Strengthening Families Quality Improvement Plan is required. The improvement plan includes strengths and areas of growth and input from staff and parents and families in the process. Here are 6 simple steps you can use in your interactions with families you work with. Number 1, start with empathy. It's so easy for a parent to feel unseen, unheard, and powerless, just one of the anonymous millions trying to survive in the midst of the pandemic. Everyone you work with is likely to be experiencing very high levels of stress, even those who don't talk about it. Many people are struggling with anxiety and/or depression due to health and financial fears, social isolation, and disruption to routine. When you ask your families how they are feeling, leave room for them to express their fears and struggles, and empathize with the challenges they are facing, such as filing an unemployment claim, getting tested for the virus, helping their children keep up with virtual learning, experiencing racist abuse because they are Asian American, fearing detention due to their immigration status. When you start with empathy, you are not only building your relationship. This type of interaction also provides the other person with the space to slow down, exhale, and calm themselves. People who feel less of a sense of threat can engage the parts of the brain they need to plan and act in goal directed ways. And those moments of connection are rewarding for workers too, even when they can't provide as much help as they would like. Number 2, ask strength based questions. Asking good open-ended questions about current challenges help you avoid giving any advice that wouldn't be relevant for the parent or situation, because you will know more about what they've already tried and what works or doesn't work for them. You can follow up by asking parents about their strong points, the people they can rely on, and who or what inspires them when they think about getting through a challenge. All of this will help people to see their own strengths and build their sense of hope. What's more, it will let the parents know that you see them as a capable person who can take pride in problem solving for their family. Number 3, offer resources and provide perspective as well as information. Once you've empathized with the parents and asked questions that help them recall their strengths, you can provide useful information and the concrete assistance they need. Most parents don't know what types of support are available and how to access them, especially at a time when things are changing so rapidly. Be prepared to provide useful information and the concrete assistance they need and know where to look for it. Examples include offering virtual workshops and home visits, porch drop-offs with masks, hand sanitizers, parenting tips, and fun activities for children, and links to resources in the community. You can also help the parent take a step back and regain the perspective that's so hard to hold on to when we feel overwhelmed. Understanding that their child's behavior during this crisis is age appropriate, recognizing that many other families are struggling with the same challenges you are, or remembering that this too shall pass can help parents build their resilience. Number 4, 5, and 6, strategize, coach, and celebrate success. You could also help parents develop strategies to solve whatever challenges they're facing. Coach and mentor them as they carry out their strategies, including planning for what they will do if their first efforts don't succeed, and celebrate their successes, no matter how small. Engaging with parents in this way will help them use and build their own strengths and be even better equipped for the next challenge they face, whether you are there with them or not. The work you are doing is critical for the families who are hurting right now, for the children who will grow up in stronger families, and for the strength of your community in the long run. You are one of many people doing this work across the country and around the world as we all find ways through this pandemic. Your work matters, and you can take great pride in that while also giving yourself a moment to rest and take care of yourself so that you can continue to support other families for many years to come. It is important to remember that according to Standard 3.5.1, strengthening families principles and 7 core strategies are fully integrated into the work of the center and/or program. If you need more information, visit www.strengtheningfamilies.net and the Center for the Study of Social Policy at cssp.org. In the wake of COVID-19 pandemic, it is essential to engage families, parents and caregivers as full partners to ensure that every child has the support they need to be successful. Let's learn about 5 key steps to family engagement. Although these suggestions were developed through a school district lens, they contain a lot of wisdom for childcare programs. We also know that many of you have stepped up and provide ongoing support for virtual learners on a daily basis. Number 1, reach out. You definitely want to establish strong two-way communication mechanism with every family at your center. One way to do that is making sure to use every available means of communication to share virtual event dates, timelines for making decisions regarding full reopening, and opportunities for families to provide input. Also ensure that families have a mechanism for asking questions and receiving timely answers. Your center's email address or an app such as Hi Mama or Tadpoles. What's more, ensure to provide accessible information to all families, including those who speak languages other than English. Another important aspect to remember is to develop a comprehensive plan for tracking down students and families who cannot be easily reached. If possible, work with community organizations to contact high-needs families. Arrange for a virtual or in-person home visit or wellness checks for students. Number 2, listen. Learn about your student and family needs and preferences, such as health concerns, childcare needs during remote learning days with older siblings, lack of access to technology, scheduling considerations, as well as students and families' personal experiences caused by COVID-19. Pay special attention to ensure you include traditionally marginalized subgroups and families with students who have special needs. Develop better understanding who families rely on for information and which trusted partners are already supporting high-need students and their families. Number 3, assess. Review data about existing needs of your families and engage community partners in addressing resource gaps. Ensure to identify the gaps at your surrounding neighborhood. For example, if mental health support is a major challenge, craft a detailed plan for identifying the appropriate community partners to provide support, as well as a plan for delivering that support to students and families. The Social Emotional Formation Initiative, SEFI, supports the statewide integration of professional development opportunities aimed at promoting the social and emotional well-being and inclusion of all infants, toddlers, and young children with and without developmental, emotional, and behavioral difficulties. CEFI, a grant-supported program of the Center for Autism and Early Childhood Mental Health at Montclair State University, approaches this work through the full continuum of promotion, prevention, and intervention efforts. To get connected to CEFI and to learn how to better care for babies and children, as well as yourself, through CEFI training and consultation, please reach out to your technical assistance specialist. Number 4, plan. Develop a comprehensive education support plan that leverages resources, addresses gaps, and includes roles for families and community members to become a part of your center's decision-making body. Key considerations will include family preferences for full reopening and support for addressing inequities, friends, and relatives who help students' mental health basic needs, technology access, and remote learning. Highlight metrics that will be used to gauge the success of the plan and ensure that those metrics are tied to the values that matter most to students and families. Summarize the plan in accessible language and provide additional opportunities for families and communities to provide feedback before finalizing it. Number 5, engage. Work together to strengthen supports available to all students and families. Make sure that families have access to existing resources and gather feedback about what families need. Collaborate with new and existing partners to meet these needs. For example, free dental exam, food drive, clothing or toy donation, gift cards, etc. Now take a moment and reflect on the following. Do all your families have access to consistent, transparent updates and means of getting answers to their questions and sharing what they need? Do families have a variety of ways to connect with you, receive accessible, easy to understand updates, and give feedback about what is and is not working? Are you actively sharing and discussing what you learn with families, ensuring it is understandable? Are you partnering with community organizations to address any gaps in support? Are you making decisions with families and incorporate their ideas, perspectives, and priorities into your program? Have you done a robust analysis and identified the assets and community organizations that support your students and families? Are you sharing data, resources, and training with community partners and engaging with them in the planning to provide the much needed support?
Thank you, Monica. And thank you all for being here with us and joining us today. You'll be receiving a comprehensive resource guide and the slide deck. We know we've covered a lot, and we know that you are already doing a lot. We are hopeful that you heard one new idea that you might like to try. We do hope that you are feeling good because we know that you are already implementing a number of these strategies. I recently attended a workshop on family engagement where the presenter described her family engagement practice as throwing confetti. She throws out a lot of confetti, providing many opportunities for families to engage. But there is no shame and no blame. She doesn't keep a list of who participated and who didn't. It's her hope that by providing many different invitations in a warm and welcoming way, each family will find opportunities that resonate with them and that they enjoy being part of. We're inspired by the wonderful relationships with families that you are building and strengthening during the pandemic. Please recognize the amazing work that you are doing in leading your program and providing quality care to New Jersey's children during a worldwide health crisis. As an optimistic leader, you show up and lead your team with enthusiasm and passion, because that's what great leaders do. It takes a commitment to live into your greatness to participate in Grow New Jersey Kids. We are so glad that you made that bold choice. Thank you.